Picture this. A 14-year-old sits at their desk, tabs open, homework on one screen, YouTube on another, Discord pinging in the background. They're supposed to be writing an essay, but they've been working for 2 hours and have written exactly 3 sentences. Their parents walk by and see them staring at the screen. "Focus," they say. But here's the thing. This kid has a 140 IQ. They tested into the gifted program at age 7. They taught themselves coding at 10. So why can't they finish a simple essay? If you think this is just procrastination or laziness, you're missing something critical. And if you're a parent or educator watching a brilliant child struggle in ways that make zero sense, what I'm about to explain will finally connect the dots. I spend way too much time thinking about why smart kids are failing in the digital age. If you've been struggling with watching intelligent children underperform, lose motivation, or seem completely derailed by technology, the next few minutes will change everything. I'm going to show you exactly why this happens and what actually works to fix it. No fluff, just science. Find a quiet spot, stay until the end, and if this finally clicks for you, let me know by hitting the like button. Okay, let's start now. Here's what most people don't realize. Gifted children aren't just smart kids who need harder math problems. Their brains are literally wired differently. They have what psychologists call overexcitabilities, heightened sensitivities in how they process intellectual, emotional, and sensory information. Now, why does this matter in 2026? Because we've essentially handed them the most overstimulating environment in human history, the internet. Look, a typical child's brain gets a dopamine hit from a video game or social media notification. But a gifted child's brain, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Their heightened sensitivity means they experience digital stimulation at an intensity most people can't even comprehend. A study from the Digital Wellness Lab at Boston Children's Hospital found that children with IQs above 130 show 43% higher neurological responses to digital rewards compared to their neurotypical peers. 43%. We're not talking about a small difference here. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but smart kids should be able to control themselves better, right? Wrong. And this is where everyone, parents, teachers, even the kids themselves, gets it completely backwards. Gifted children often have what's called asynchronous development. Their intellectual age might be 17, but their emotional regulation skills still hovering around 12. Imagine being able to understand quantum physics, but not being able to stop yourself from checking TikTok every 5 minutes. That's the daily reality. And here's the kicker. Because they're labeled gifted, everyone expects them to just figure it out. Nobody's teaching them the executive function skills they desperately need because everyone assumes they already have them. This is where it gets really interesting. The algorithm knows your child better than you do. Let me explain what I mean. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, these platforms use something called collaborative filtering and deep learning models that analyze thousands of data points every single second. They know exactly when your child is bored, exactly what will re-engage them, and exactly how to keep them in a state of what psychologists call continuous partial attention. But gifted kids, they're the algorithm's dream user. Why? Because their pattern recognition abilities and novelty-seeking behavior make them incredibly predictable to AI systems. A 2024 study published in the Journal of Adolescent Digital Behavior found that algorithmically driven platforms achieve 67% longer engagement times with gifted adolescents compared to the general population. Now, here's what nobody's talking about: the opportunity cost. Every hour your gifted child spends in this algorithmically driven dopamine loop, they're not developing the one skill that actually predicts success: frustration tolerance. You see, gifted children are used to things coming easily. When they were younger, they could read before their classmates, solve puzzles faster, understand concepts without much effort. But real achievement, that requires sustained effort through difficulty. It requires sitting with boredom. It requires doing things that don't immediately feel rewarding. And the digital age has completely destroyed their ability to build this skill. Why would your brain learn to push through a boring math problem when it knows that a swipe away, there's a perfectly curated video that makes you feel intellectually stimulated without any effort? Look, I see this pattern constantly in my work. Brilliant kids who can explain astrophysics but can't write a 5-paragraph essay. Kids who taught themselves 3 programming languages but can't complete a single online course. The common thread? They've trained their brain to expect constant novelty and immediate intellectual gratification. Anything that requires sustained linear effort feels like psychological torture. Here's the thing most people don't realize. It's not about screen time. A gifted child could spend 8 hours reading Wikipedia articles about Byzantine history, and that's still healthier than 30 minutes of algorithmically optimized short-form content. Why? Because reading Wikipedia requires sustained attention, self-directed learning, and tolerance for slower information processing. The algorithm, on the other hand, is specifically designed to prevent all 3 of those skills from developing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Sahil, you've thoroughly depressed me. What do I actually do about this? Fair question. Let me give you the framework that actually works. First, understand this is a brain training problem, not a discipline problem. Punishment doesn't work. Taking away devices completely doesn't work. What works is systematically rebuilding their tolerance for cognitive effort. Start with what I call friction-based learning. This means reintroducing activities that require sustained attention and have natural friction built in. Physical books instead of PDFs, handwritten notes instead of typing, building something physical instead of watching tutorials. The goal isn't to reject technology, it's to recalibrate what their brain expects from learning experiences. Second, create depth sessions. These are non-negotiable 90-minute blocks where your child works on one thing. No phone, no music, no "I'll just check this one thing." Pure, uncomfortable, single-task focus. Will they hate it at first? Absolutely. Their brain will literally feel like it's in withdrawal, because, well, it is. But here's what happens after 2 weeks of daily depth sessions. Their baseline dopamine regulation starts to normalize. They start experiencing what psychologists call flow states again, something the algorithm completely destroyed. Third, and this is critical, teach them metacognition about the algorithm. Gifted kids respond incredibly well to understanding why their brain does what it does. Sit down with them and explain exactly what I just explained to you. Show them how the recommendation system works. Help them understand that their inability to focus isn't a character flaw. It's a predictable neurological response to expertly designed manipulation. When they understand they're in a game rigged against them, they often become motivated to beat it. Fourth, replace algorithmic content with curated depth. Instead of YouTube recommendations, subscribe to 3 to 4 channels and watch only new uploads. Instead of infinite scroll social media, use RSS feeds or newsletters. The goal is to shift from the algorithm decides what I consume to I decide what I consume. This single change can reduce digital engagement time by 40 to 50% while actually increasing knowledge retention. Look, here's the bottom line. Your smart kid isn't failing because they're lazy or disciplined. They're failing because their supercharged brain is being exploited by the most sophisticated attention extraction system ever created, and nobody prepared them for this. But here's the good news. Gifted kids have an incredible advantage once they understand what's happening. Their pattern recognition abilities, their love of complex systems, their desire to optimize, all of these can be redirected towards building the cognitive skills they actually need. They just need someone to show them what they're up against and give them the tools to fight back. If you're a parent watching this, stop blaming your kid. Stop blaming yourself. This is a systemic problem that requires a systemic solution. And if you're a gifted young person watching this, you're not broken. Your brain is remarkable. It's just being weaponized against you. Time to take it back. That's it for today's video. If this finally made things click, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what resonated most. Subscribe to Mindware TV if you want more psychology and technology insights that actually matter. And remember, your mind is the most powerful technology you'll ever own. Time to upgrade your mental software.